Welcome. I'm Denise Doring Van Buren. I'm a two-term past president and a longtime member of the Dutchess County Historical Society, and I thank you for joining us this year on our virtual platform. It's not the 2020 that any of us had planned, but we all obviously remained committed to celebrating our local history, so I'm so pleased that you're part of our program. I am also honored to lend my voice to the Society's 2020 awards, which recognize 3 outstanding individuals and a remarkable local business. Through careful thought and a lot of hard work, they contribute to our understanding of our shared history. They help to preserve, to protect, and yes, even to propagate that history in order that we might all better understand who we are as a people and why our sense of place matters. In a moment, you will hear from someone who recognized that importance. You will likely recognize him. He'll present this year's awards. But first, allow me to explain why I feel that the Dutchess County Historical Society itself is a rare treasure that's worth supporting. Ours is a rich and a colorful past, one that stretches from the indigenous peoples to those who arrive today to make Dutchess County their home. Binding us together is a narrative that unites us, giving us purpose and passion for this wonderful place we call home. Raising awareness of local history is something that is deeply important to me personally. As some of you know, I'm now in the midst of a 3-year term as the President General of the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution. While we are based in Washington, D.C. and have nearly 3,000 chapters worldwide, the essence of DAR resides within the local chapters, where members work to fulfill our mission of historic preservation, education, and patriotism. For example, we have 3 chapters right here in Dutchess County. Mawinawasi in Poughkeepsie was instrumental in saving the Clinton House, now home to the Dutchess County Historical Society. Chancellor Livingston chapter in Rhinebeck owns and operates the historic Richard Montgomery House. And my own chapter, Melzinga, saved the oldest building in Dutchess County back in 1954 when plans were announced to raise it for a supermarket. It's been a privilege for us to operate the circa 1709 Madam Brett Homestead in Beacon as a museum ever since. While I'm particularly fascinated by Dutchess County's connection to the American Revolution, I also recognize that there are so many other important chapters. I appreciate the significance of Dutchess County's long and rich history, and I know that you do too. That is why you are here. This year has been a profound test of us as individuals, as citizens, as organizations. It has also posed important questions about what really matters. What should we value as Americans? You know where I stand, or I wouldn't be involved with the DAR or the Historical Society, 2 exemplary organizations that uphold values and offer lessons, helping us all to navigate the change, the challenges, and the opportunities that are asked of each generation. Thank you for being a part of our mission at the Dutchess County Historical Society. I hope that you will stand with me in support of local history. But for now, allow me to welcome to your screen our celebrity host, who certainly needs no introduction. As we honor our award winners tonight, I'll be back after his presentation with some closing thoughts and a request of each of you. But for now, Mr. President.
My friends, I am so pleased to be here with you all today to introduce to you this year's Dutchess County Historical Society honorees. The Historical Society was founded in December of 1914. It's hard to believe that was 106 years ago. I had some ideas about what the Historical Society should be. I wrote to the first president, Henry McGill, the head of the Pleasant Valley Library, that this group needs to be about preservation and publishing. One of my ideas was to publish an annual yearbook. I guess that was a pretty great idea because our 99th volume was just published. Do you have this year's yearbook? I get a bit of a mention, and so does Eleanor. I was laid up for a few years in the mid-1920s, and during that time, I became the Dutchess County Historical Society Vice President for Hyde Park. During my recovery, I wrote 2 books published by the Historical Society, projects which gave me great comfort. Eleanor and I hosted what they used to call in those days the annual pilgrimage to Springwood. We had a little tea in the summer of 1927. There we are. There's Eleanor hiding in the ivy. I know that in recent years we haven't done an annual pilgrimage, but perhaps we should start that tradition back up again when we are able. I'd love to host you all at my library in Hyde Park. I know you would all love to see the Dutchess County Historical Society room there. But enough about me. We are here to celebrate 4 instances of extraordinary leadership and performance in local history. The 2020 Duchess Award recognizes a contribution by a county resident to the Dutchess County community and beyond in the areas of preservation, history, and education. Now here is a woman whose high regard for local history meant that the important business of tourism in this county was informed, amplified, and energized through its celebration and acknowledgement. I am delighted to be able to help a bit in this area, as my presidential home and library is the most popular tourist destination in our county. The Vanderbilts are green with envy. Mary Kay Verba spent 26 years at Dutchess Tourism, ultimately becoming its president and chief executive officer. She illuminated our county's powerful history as a means to attract interest, tourism, and tourism dollars. The profile, relevance, and value of our local history has benefited from her leadership. In her newfound retirement, Mary Kay leaves a clear path to be emulated for continued success. We wish her all the very best.
I just want to, first of all, congratulate the other winners for this evening. It is just so humbling to be amongst so many great people. And I want to thank the Dutchess County Historical Society for this award this evening. History is so important, not only on a local level, but on a state and a national level. And the Dutchess County Historical Society has always played an important role in our local history and to help us put a place on who we are and where we're going in Dutchess County. Whenever we get calls or had gotten calls at the Dutchess Tourism Office, I could always rely on the Dutchess County Historical Society to be able to follow up on those or to help our visitors that are coming into the area. History is one of the pillars of what brings tourists to Dutchess County, along with our cultural events and our outdoors and our arts and our food scene. History plays along actually in all of those, because each of those have a history, from the Hudson Valley School of Painters to the Culinary Institute and the place that food plays in our economy. The Dutchess County Historical Society and history is just the foundation of who we are. So I would encourage the Dutchess County Historical Society to continue the good work that they're doing, perhaps to look for a larger home so that there is a place where people can come to when they are doing their search for maybe family history or a place that they have lived or have been. So, continue the good work. Again, thank you so much for this honor, and I so appreciate being recognized by the Dutchess County Historic Society.
The 2020 Business of Historic Distinction Award recognizes the business that demonstrates the long-standing tradition of service and commitment to Dutchess County residents. Well, this certainly is of great interest to me. I applaud Page Park Associates for their stewardship of what we originally called the New Yorker Building, now known as the Poughkeepsie Journal Building. They are stewards of a historic building with extraordinary murals and bas-relief. They have successfully created a vibrant, contemporary, adaptive reuse of the historic 1941 building, with careful attention to restoration and preservation of its dramatic murals exterior field stone, and depiction of local history in stone sculpture. And they've been extraordinarily supportive of finding ways to preserve the historic collection of photographs from the Poughkeepsie Journal. Accepting for Page Park Associates is Jason Page, who would like to say a few words.
Well, most of the building we did in a very traditional form. The building had gone through a series of renovations over the years. The Poughkeepsie Journal had done, but our renovations consisted of a complete tear down rebuild. Everything in this building is top notch, just state of the art. And we've basically made our way through all 80,000 square feet of this building. One of the most historic aspects of the building is the rotunda, which is a circular rotunda as you enter the building. It starts out with the scribes and moves its way into a modern day press conference of FDR's on the lawn at his house in Hyde Park. But apparently there was a word of a story of a squabble that FDR, because they used federal funds to support the construction of this rotunda, FDR wanted the history of the Hudson Valley. Now, if you go in any of the post offices, you will see history of the Hudson Valley, the Indians, the river, the colonization. And Merritt Spidell, I believe, the publisher, was also very powerful. And he said, no, we're going to do it about the printing and free speech. And as we jump ahead to today, the media won. And there's no history of the Hudson Valley on the rotunda, which is pretty interesting. And I actually have in my office a painting, or it wasn't a painting, it was a mock-up of what they were going to do with the rotunda. And it had the Indians and the pictures of the river and Henry Hudson's ship. So that was really interesting.
I am especially pleased to talk to you today about the Helen Wilkinson Reynolds Award. The award, given in her name, recognizes a local historian who continues Miss Reynolds' legacy of accurate research and search for historical truth. I know she would be so pleased to know that the award in her honor is being presented this year to Sandra Updike. Miss Updike's extensive body of work includes books on public health policy, women's suffrage, and the 1918 flu pandemic. What a timely choice for this year as we celebrate the centennial of women getting the vote while facing another pandemic. Ms. Updike has taught at Bard, Vassar, and Marist colleges, and I am pleased to say that she and her husband are longtime supporters of the Historical Society.
What I really love is trying to bring past events alive for people who aren't working historians, for whom some of this is new. And I love to try and explain how any set of past events grew out of what was going on in the world around them, and maybe what it felt like to be there and to have those things happening. And then to try and look and see what makes it make sense to us. How does it relate to where we are today? So those are really the three things. And I love sharing that with college students when I taught them, or now when I'm writing books for them, or when I teach at the Center for Lifetime Studies, or writing for the county yearbook. I love that kind of work. I had my first, I sort of stuck my toe into Dutchess County history for the first time in the 1950s when I was a junior at Vassar. And we had a paper assigned where the teacher said to use local records, and we could either do it at home or in Poughkeepsie. And so I chose Poughkeepsie. And I remember staying over spring vacation and bicycling to Adrian's library every day and reading microfilm and learning about the whaling industry in Poughkeepsie in the 1840s. And my paper ultimately was published in the County Historical Society yearbook. So that was kind of my first public appearance. Then life took me in many, many different paths, but I wound up in my 50s going back to becoming a historian, mostly big picture. And it's only in recent years that I've come to this rediscover the pleasures of local history, writing for the County Historical Society yearbook again, and getting that sense of what these famous events mean to real people living real lives in a real individual community like Dutchess County. And of course, it's a special honor because this award is associated with Helen, Wilkinson, Reynolds, who really made local history an art form. And it's an honor just to have my name associated even briefly with hers on the connection with this award.
One of my oldest friends who shared an interest in local history and politics was John Mylod. The son of Irish immigrants, born in Hyde Park, he was a lawyer. He became City of Poughkeepsie historian and was essential in political circles and helped me enormously. How delightful is it that the Eileen Mylod Hayden Award for Excellence in History Education is named for his granddaughter. Eileen was a teacher and carries on the family tradition of support for the Historical Society by being a board member. The award, given for the first time this year, such a trying year for anyone in education, recognizes teachers at middle or high school levels who effectively impart a love for history in their students. Neil Murray receives the award for his teaching of 11th grade American and military history at the Pine Plains Central School District. Neil is a leader in the development of living history to teach history in a creative way, far from the days when I learned history by memorizing dates. Neil's own respect of and love for local history comes through in his teaching and in his broader community engagement with veterans. Students are left with a lifelong curiosity and respect for the events and the people of the past.
My hope is that through living history, my students will make tangible connections to the past. By stepping back in time, my students will experience live events through ideas, technology, clothing, and food. They will actively learn by doing and living the experience. Through living history, my students will vividly recall their learning, making connections to the past to better understand the cost of freedom. Living history doesn't glorify war. It serves as a reminder of the hardships of those who came before us. Local veterans' experiences will come to life. For this interview, I chose to wear the uniform of Captain Jacob Cheeseman. Captain Jacob Cheeseman demonstrates the cost of freedom. He was killed alongside of General Richard Montgomery during our assault on Quebec in 1775. And at the time of Montgomery's death, he was a Rhinebeck, New York resident. My hope is that by utilizing living history as an educational practice, my students will enjoy history as a human story of our past, and not just view history as unrelatable dates and names in a textbook. These were real people with human emotions and shared experiences that we can relate to today. I'm honored to have the Dutchess County Historical Society validate my teaching methods as a meaningful recognition of living history and as a scholarly educational practice. I chose Cheeseman because the same cannon shot, they shot canister at Montgomery, and the same exact cannon blast that killed Montgomery killed Jacob Cheeseman. And when they looked at his effects, they found a trunk, and in the trunk was a green regimental coat. So here's the green coat, and a beaver hat with a gold loop and a gold band. So there's a beaver hat. I don't know if you can see the fur on there? That's what they mean when they say beaver hat. And the epaulette on my shoulder, that's actually based on the one that Alexander Hamilton wore. And the original is in the collection at Fort Ticonderoga. So I had my friends send pictures of the epaulette so that we could make that. And all the lace, this is actually antique lace. It's probably about 150 years old. So kind of neat.
When I wrote in December of 1914 that I hoped the society would grow in strength and usefulness, I had no idea just how much that would be true. and our honorees are proof of that. Eleanor and I send our heartiest congratulations to all.
Congratulations to all of our award winners, and thank you, President Roosevelt, not only for hosting our award ceremony tonight, but for helping to found our Dutchess County Historical Society. We're grateful. What FDR knew then, we know now. History matters. But we need your help to ensure that we can continue our mission to collect and to celebrate our past. To be sure, the Dutchess County Historical Society had a breakthrough year. Just a few examples: launching rich online content and also releasing a series of interviews featuring the recovered and restored paintings of LaGrange's Caroline Morgan Clowes. This is history at its best. But the pandemic, as you well know, has meant the suspension of in-person events, such as our annual meeting and our awards dinner, as well as public access to Clinton House. And as a result, no surprise, our income is down dramatically. Watching this program was so important, but it's just a first step. We need your help. If you had normally attended the awards dinner or any other event sponsored by our society, would you please consider converting the cost of that ticket price into a donation? Or perhaps you'd be willing to make a donation to honor someone who appreciated the history of Dutchess County, or maybe even someone who helped to shape it. Please know how critically important your support is of our mission to our future, especially this year. Just visit our website to make an online contribution, or simply mail your donation by check to us at our secure address, P.O. Box 88 in Poughkeepsie, 12602. We understand that financial circumstances vary greatly, and that's why any amount, folks, is greatly appreciated. In closing, again, allow me to congratulate this year's award winners, to thank you for your support, and to remind you of the importance of keeping history alive on behalf of those who have gone, for the benefit of those who will follow. For once forgotten, our history is lost forever.